A palette full of color, we'll leave the truth uncovered, cause only lies are white. We use the words we write to shine a light on life. My light is lava like it's hot and burning bright. Now read, recall, record, recite. We covered every angle, now hope.
Hi everybody, welcome back to And Cyn. I'm Cynthia Dorsey.
I'm Veronique McRae.
And we're so excited to be with you today in the room. So come on in. Let's get started. I'm really excited about covering this playwright today. Her name is Alice Childress. Alice was born October 12th, 1916. She is known as an infamous novelist, playwright, and actress. She was born in Charleston, South Carolina, but at the age of 9, she ended up moving to Harlem. We are in Harlem, 1920s, and you know the Harlem Renaissance was big with the arts explosion in New York. And so Alice, was a part of that movement as well. She took odd jobs growing up as a domestic worker, a photo retoucher. She was an assistant mechanist. So she was using all of her gifts, including her artistic gifts. In 1939, she studied drama at the American Negro Theater and performed with them for over 11 years. She has written several different plays, but didn't begin her writing career until 1949. So she started out as an actress and then transitioned into playwriting. The first play she wrote was a one-act play, which we are reviewing today, called Florence. She then did an adaptation of Langston Hughes's novel, Simple Speaks His Mind, in 1950. And then her first full-length dramatic play, Trouble in Mind, was produced at Greenwich Mews Theater in 1955. There was a little bit of controversy around her dramatic work that she wrote called Wedding Band, A Love-Hate Story in Black and White. She wrote that in 1962, and it was about a forbidden interracial love. Given the climate of America at that time, no theater in New York would pick up that play or produce that play. So she still decided to pitch it other places, and it premiered in 1966 at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. It went on to Chicago and did not make it back to New York until 1972, and it was a part of New York Shakespeare Festival. But the play ended up starring the infamous Ruby Dee. The play also was later filmed and shown on TV. Oftentimes, she found that stations refused to play the work because of that forbidden interracial love affair. In 1965, she was featured in a BBC presentation. There, we find out that she was a scholar in residence at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University. She also wrote young adult books, and she also wrote a number of musical plays. Miss Childress died August 14th, 1994, at the age of 77. She died of cancer. The gift that she has given the theater world is priceless. Her body of work is vast, and I'm grateful today that we're reviewing her work. I consider her a pioneer in many ways because she is known for being the first African American woman to write, produce, act, act in plays over 4 decades. So while we have other women doing that now, they haven't reached the 4-decade mark. And so I think we are on Unseen paying homage to the work Alice Childress has done. So I'm really excited.
Yes, and today, as Cynthia stated, we are discussing her first play, her one act entitled Florence. This production was actually produced at the American Negro Theater, where she did work for those 11 years in 1949, around that time when she was making the transition from actress to writer. And it was produced at St. Mark's on 125th Street, small loft space. If you've ever been to New York or lived in New York at a time, I've actually been to that area before. So you can still go to that area and see where A&T was established. The play went on for a second run from September to October of 1950 in Lenox Avenue as well. And that was through the Committee for the Negro in the Arts, or CNA. Florence is a one act set in a train station in a small southern town. And during the time period, it is a time period of segregation. So when the lights rise and we begin the show, we see just this empty lot marked for whites and for colors. And this is where we begin. The piece is a 4-character piece, including the characters of Mama, Marge, the porter, and Mrs. Carter. And in this piece, we start to see just the dynamics of the thought process of, I believe, how we view ourselves, the opportunities we may or may not have, and how others view ourselves in the lens of whites versus colors and the Southerners versus Northerners, because we open this play with Mama getting ready to travel to visit her daughter Florence, who has left the South to go to New York to pursue a career in acting. So I wasn't sure, Cindy, would you like to jump in first and just kind of first thoughts or response to this play?
Yeah, so I definitely enjoyed reading this play. It's a short read for anybody who's wondering. I love the way in which the women are written and the dialogue they have with each other. And so, as we continue on with our show and scene, and we're highlighting women of color who are prolific playwrights, who are prolific actresses, this play falls right in line to what our goal is with this show. And so, I the themes we're always talking about, right? Colorism, sexism, and just as simple as dreaming. You have a dream, you go for your dream, and all of these things in between happen to impact your decision. I had read a quote by Miss Childress, and just to abbreviate it a bit, she said that her writing style, she really wanted to write people from a human aspect, because we are all different. Not one human is the same. And she compared that to snowflakes. And I thought this body of work did that. I thought each character was unique. Each character had their own voice, and it came together quite nicely. Did you think?
I completely agree. For it to be a short read, it's a powerful short read. It's something, and we know that, like you said, the elements that we always discuss, even though the setting is back in the day, quote unquote, and first mounted in 1949, honestly, you could put this up in 2020 and we would be able to relate, right? Because it has a human element in those kind of universal things. But also, literally, there are still places, especially in the Deep South, where you can still go into buildings and see some of these markings. Or there's still laws for, I believe it's sundown time. So it's not that far removed from where we are. I really resonated with, well, honestly, I resonated with it all, but I really resonated with the picture that she painted between the siblings of Marge and Florence. And Florence, though it's titled that, we never physically see Florence in the show, right? There actually is no character Florence, but it's centered around her journey. And one of the things I found interesting is that you have these sisters or siblings, Florence and Marge, and kind of Florence's approach to life versus Marge's approach. You know, Marge is very, you know, adamant with her mother, like, you need to bring her back home. She's chasing things that they won't let us have, referencing to, you know, white culture, white society, the way that the structure of the world is set up. Where you have Florence, who's like, I want to act. And Florence apparently leaves a child behind, Tim, and travels to New York. So one of the first elements that stood out to me is just how, you know, you can grow up in the same household, and then what mindset it is in. Marge is like, you know, I just need to do what I need to do, keep my head down, stay where I'm supposed to be, and this is the way it is. And Florence is more of a, I'm going to question the way it is. Why should I limit myself? I'm going to go somewhere and make things happen. I'm not staying in the South after what happened within my family. I'm going up north for my dreams. And it just shows you what maybe that different approach was for us as people of color, as Black people back in the day. What route did you choose? Nobody's saying one is right or wrong. We can apply that for today, right? Some people go out and physically protest. Some people work in different manners and don't physically protest. So there's not a right or wrong answer, but what is your approach to how the world is set up, and what, or how do you see yourself within that world? And I felt like that came out a lot through these two sisters.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
Oh, yeah, it's also just very interesting how the mother, you know, what position she's in. She has her daughter, Marge, who's like, be safe. Did you make sure you did this and make sure you did that? Because you're traveling, you know you can't eat on the cart. You know, so did you pin your check to your bosom? You know, well, not me. I wasn't blessed with the extra purse, but, you know, people who are blessed with the purse, did you pin your check to your bosom so nobody can get, you know, you see this concern. And, you know, Mama's like, I'm going to go check on my baby. And Marge is like, you better bring her butt back down here. And so you see the mother in this area of conflict, because I think, you know, I am not a mother yet. I remember my mother. And when I was like, we were, you know, my family were all born in New York, but I moved down south. The family moved back down south, which is the area my father's from, by the time I was 3 years old. So my first memories are honestly of North Carolina. I'm born in New York Social Security number, but I grew up down south. But I'm an artist. And so as soon as I could get my little tail out of the South, I ran back up to New York. And just like, it's, I gotta go. And so I kind of relate to Florence with that, but also the going back to like the mama, like I remember times, even when my mother was ill, because she was very ill, you know, I gotten sick by the time I was 11, and literally in her last 7 months here on earth, I remember her being sick and not being able to get out of bed, but I'd come home to visit her because she had gone in the hospital. And, you know, we keep change jars. So, you know, if the U.S. Mint is out of coins, you just come talk to us in Black America. We have jugs of change everywhere. And telling me to count that change to get my ticket to go back up to do background work on Law and Order, because she believed in me, you know, and she knew even if I silently didn't say anything, it was hard to audition or not eating or doing those different things, the same things that Marge was referencing to in Florence. But I believe parents have these hopes and dreams in our children for us to go farther than they did. Like their purpose is to, I will do all that I can so that you can keep running and run farther than I did. So you see Mama here with this conflict. I need to check on her. I mean, but she was on screen. They said she was in a picture, but my sister saying she was sweeping floor. My other baby saying she's sweeping floors and bring her home. But I believe in her. I want her to go further and do more. And so that's why I feel like a lot of these themes are also very universal, that you can, extract those things that you need from there, and still apply it to present day.
Yeah. I agree. I think, when I originally wanted to review this play, I went in reading thinking that this was a typical, segregation meets city life meets, a woman who has gone off, families looking for her. Like, I thought it was a typical play that we see, but at the same time, as I continue to read and really digest it, it's actually quite remarkable how Miss Childress has written the dimension in these characters, from Marge taking care of her mother, making sure that her mother is sad, from her mother allowing that to happen, like assuming the role, but entrusting her daughter to take care of home, going off to check on her child in the midst of Jim Crow South, like all of these nuances that happen in Black families really registered, was really strong in this piece. I can definitely say, like, as an older sibling, you sometimes assume the role as the leader and you're not the mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you have to. And your mother just allows that. You know what I'm saying? Allows you, allowing your child to figure out their course and who they are is a strong choice a mother can make. I feel like just allowing your child to be who they are and try to figure out who they are and assert themselves respectfully. It was evident. Just the fact that Florence could go off and leave her child and know that her child would be taken care of to pursue a dream. And that's another aspect of the play that registered with me, and it's like this dream chase thing. And we're all doing it, right? And just to have the courage to literally, because your dreams are not allowing you to function in your current state, that you have to let go of your current state and go. That is a reality a lot of us are facing. And we don't necessarily have the courage to say, oh, I'm going to drop my 9 to 5, or I'm going to drop my kids and go. We don't necessarily have that courage or the know-how or the familiar structure. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. But it's nice to see that this is doesn't have a date or an age on it. You know what I'm saying? Because this was written in the 60s, it's still very much relevant today, in that we are all in pursuit of what our heart desires. And I just love to see pieces that are supposed to be period bring out the themes that of today that I'm experiencing, that my friends are experiencing, that we know we're not, lost. We're not, bizarre because we're having these feelings. Like, this is a very real thing, and it happens across generations, across age. It knows no date or time. It happens to everyone. And it was just nice to see it written in a very short, but like you said, powerful way.
I definitely agree with you on that, especially the dream chasing. Because in my mind, I'm like, yes, Florence. Even now with COVID, I'm like, so if I don't live here, the only place I want to live is in New York, so I can go for it. And so like you said, it's like really nice to know that's another element that makes it timeless. I think one of the additional elements that unfortunately make it timeless for me is the element of the white savior complex and the white superiority complex that we see in Mrs. Carter.
Yes.
There's still this idea that the best way or the right way is the white way. And through conversation between Mrs. Carter and Mama, we see these elements come up where in Mrs. Carter's mind, she's always trying to do good for the Negroes. And it plays into the white savior complex, like we're here to save you. My brother, her brother, who apparently is a writer, really, really knows you Negro people. And he wrote for you, and it's always like, it just eats at me whenever, you read, because you see this every day. And Mrs. Carter's mentality reminds me of the mentality almost of white missionaries. So, like, Cynthia, my background is religion and arts and culture. And so I went to, divinity school at Duke, which is a whole realm of white supremacy within itself. And I went to Howard for a bit. After graduating from there, I went to Howard's divinity school for a bit. And the element of, like, the white savior complex that runs throughout American Christianity, that runs throughout that work where they're going in to save. And you see that in Mrs. Carter. I do what I need to do to help save. Well, my brother knows. And within the brother's story that she shares, apparently this character in the brother's story, very, very, very assuming very, very light skinned, because they could almost pass for white. So, maybe around me or a little like a little lighter, they could almost pass for white. And we see in this character that because they don't almost pass for white, the brother writes this character killing themselves, as if being Black, I just really wouldn't want to be Black. I can almost be white, but because I'm short, there's no more point to living. And the character kills themselves because there's this idea that the best thing to be is white. And Mrs. Carter, feels for her brother because of this, and also continues with all the things. I donated $1,000 to the such and such and such. It's almost like that. I have white friends, like, it kind of, it resonates with some of those things. And so I feel like that element, which unfortunately is still ever present in the world. That's why you see the conflict now, because people want to go back to the good old days to where we were separated. People reference to the 50s. That's the Jim Crow and the segregation and the lynchings. When people say good old America, that's what they're referencing, right? So we still see this element, present today. And I think it just really, it tugs at me, because also, and I'm not sure, I'll throw it out there to you if you want to piggyback or on it. But the other element, when we were talking about a mother always wanted to help their child, and an interaction occurs between Mama and Mrs. Carter, because Mrs. Carter reveals that she too is a dramatic actress like Florence, with many, many connections. And we go into this conversation, this part of the conversation with her and Mama. And I know how I feel, but I've been talking for a minute, so I'm gonna throw it to you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it eats at me because I believe a mother who is connected to their child will do whatever they can for their child. And when first, Mrs. Carter, I believe, is jealous and kind of shocked that Florence was in a picture, right? A motion picture with color, because she hasn't gotten any work lately. And then it goes to the, please, I admonish you, tell your daughter not to do this field. She needs to do something else. Please tell her don't do it. So then it goes from you being jealous of someone pursuing their dreams and making motion to you trying to dismantle or discourage the person from pursuing their dreams. From then you puffing yourself up to say that you're very well connected and you know somebody who's coming back from California to do X, Y, Z. So Mama sees this as, well, I really don't want to tell Florence to stop. She has connections. Just maybe she'll help her out, right? And you know how you have to, the level of almost, and I don't know if the word is humility, but to almost have to put yourself here to ask this woman that you don't know to help, right? But she does it for her child. Because if she can see her child continue to go for her dream, you get what I'm saying? If this woman has connections, and then how we always have to be, because our lives don't matter unless we're very good. So then here's Mama, my daughter's a good child. We're a good family, because all Black lives matter. But as we see, even in 2020, you only get a little bit of sympathy if you're a good Black life. You went to college and you're a doctor, or you did this or did that. Because if you ever had a fault, your life really doesn't matter. So we still see that element in here, because Mama's having to say, she's a good girl, we're a good family, and you've helped out this, and this, and we're good. All for Mrs. Carter, who's the dramatic actress who has these connections in the field, to reference all this information to help Florence get a job as a live-in maid.
As a maid.
I mean, I don't have tea today. I have some enriched water. And the woman is jealous. Then she tries to discourage. But then that's a level of demeaning or saying, I'm still going to put you in your place. Doesn't matter that she's in the North. Because she likes to be, I'm not a Southerner. I have to get out of here. I was born here, but I live in the North. To say that, yeah, I'll help her. I'll give her a job cooking my food and cleaning my floors, because she really shouldn't be on the stage anyway. I'm supposed to be on stage, and I haven't had a part. And y'all are colored. But I'm helping you. I'm saving you, because you'll have food to eat and a shelter. And then I can tell my friends what I did for the good old Negro woman I saw at the train station. I saved her daughter.
And not much has changed, has it?
No, not at all. And I think while I love this work, it hurts that the work is so damn relevant.
Yeah.
That it's so doesn't matter that it was mounted in 1949.
Right.
That I could put this piece up right now, and people who weren't even a thought in their mother's womb could relate.
Right. Yeah. Well, guys, I haven't really had much to say, because while I enjoyed the body of work, I just start thinking a lot about present day when we're reading these things, and how we fight the good fight every decade we are fighting the good fight. But it just seems to me that things just continue to repeat themselves. It's just masked and packaged differently. Um, and it's infuriating, just to be honest with you. Um, by all means, please read Alice Childress's work. Um, it will motivate you on your path in any industry, specifically and as a writer. I think it definitely motivated me, because a lot of times as a writer, you can write long plays, but to be able to get that same message in a short one act is a gift. And so it was great to see her create characters with depth. I'm sorry, and also create so many things that definitely need to be addressed through art, because I think that's the best way we can address a lot of the things we are going through as a community. So please read her work. But before you go, we have such a phenomenal actress coming in. You're going to love her. You're going to laugh with her. Enjoy her presence. Everybody, we are here with Attey Harper, aka Tay. I'm so happy that you are here with us today. Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
I met you at the start of, well, it wasn't the start of my company, but the first play that I put into the DC Black Theater Festival. And you came on and portrayed a character that was a man. And so it was my
Sydney.
Yes, Sydney. And all of my characters, all I had cast all women, and some of the characters were male characters, and so the women had the opportunity to play male characters. I want to know what your process was during that time to transform yourself, mind, body, speech, walk, everything, into playing such a different character than who you are. That's acting, right? And you nailed it. And so I think you should share your tools that you used.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me be in your play. I honestly don't remember how I heard it, but I think I heard about it online. There was a flyer online, and I literally just went out. One of the ways that I was able to prepare for it is, a lot of people aren't into like zodiac signs, but I am a little bit. And they say that Aries women usually have like feminine and masculine tendencies. So I just tapped into that masculine tendency that I have, but also studying the character once we had rehearsals. We were going over different parts of the lines and understanding what was the motivation behind saying that. So really thinking about the motivation, as well as, just thinking about men in my life who could possibly relate to Sydney and their experiences that they may have shared with me in the process. So that's how I was able to prepare. So tapping into my own masculine energy, going over rehearsals with you, and just making the character more relatable to people who I know who share their stories with me.
Yeah. So with some of those tactics that you had for Sydney, do you approach all of your characters in your work like that? Or what would your approach be whenever you are handed a role?
So with each role, I honestly believe that with every character that I played, there's some part of me that can relate to that character. If I haven't personally been in the same situation as that character, there I'm sure is a similar situation where I can just really dig deep into it and really really just dive in. And also because I consider myself more of an empath, I'm able to relate other people's experiences and bring that into my character as well.
So once you started acting, you have now transitioned to New York City.
And
That's like the actress leap that you took. Can you tell us why you decided to do that and how is it going for you?
well, let me first chuckle at how's it going for me. Why did I decide? Well, I've always wanted to live in New York. I've always been a fan of just bright lights, and really just the excitement that New York brings. I mean, it is a city that never sleeps, ever sleeps. Well, wait, I take that back. You know what? You can actually catch New York sleeping around 4 a.m. There are only a few people who are out. So, well, 4 or 5. Yeah, about 5 o'clock, you can catch people sleeping. But how's it going for me? So when I first moved here, you know, I was going to auditions all the time. I actually got casted in like, I don't even know what kind of play it was. And I forgot the name of it. But it was like, oh, shoot, like, I got cast in to play in New York City. Like, wow, what in the world? Mama, I'm on my way. And then eventually I had to start paying bills. So I had to find working crazy hours. I was doing catering. So I was working crazy hours to try and make ends meet. Here and there, I would try to audition. But for the most part, I honestly have not done a lot of acting. I want to say the last production that I was in here was actually, oh Lord, it was this play. Y'all, they gave me at least 10 pages, single space, y'all, single space to remember within 3 days. Ain't happening. Let me tell y'all what happened. I said, I had a little bit. And then next thing I know, I forgot my lines. Somehow I was able just to transition off to my partner because I cannot remember. So I want to say maybe that was the last play that I was in. It was a good one too. I was like, damn, I wish I could memorize all 10 pages within 3 days, but I could not. So that was it. And it was something Taz. That was the name. It was something Taz, but I just don't remember. But that was a great experience. Very interesting.
So you've been in the city during the pandemic. How has that affected your artistic journey and, you know, the work art balance for you? How is that part of the journey going right now?
So honestly, because I haven't done acting in so long, it's crazy because some people have reminded me, why did I come to New York? So during this pandemic, it just seems like God has just, you know, blessed people just to remember, why did I come here? And I mean, it would be like, you know, people just checking up on me like, hey, say, how you doing? How's the acting going? I'm like, oh, shoot, like, dang, you know, I've been working on like my vlog and my baking where I haven't even really thought about acting because I had pushed in the back of my mind because I'm like, I have to work. Like I was just constantly working all the time. And once I got that 10-page script in 3 days, I was like, oh, shoot, what in the hell? Like, are people able to memorize this many lines within 3 days? Because I know that it's something that I have always had to work on, which was just memorizing. And it's like constantly, like, you know, I don't have my sisters here with me who are like, you know, my partners. I can just bug them and say, hey, I need your help, you know. So just trying to have to do it on my own and write it down. So COVID, acting again has kind of been non-existent, but it's interesting because I was telling my brother a story and he was like, Tay, you need to write down the stories that you're telling me. He said, that's really some Issa Rae insecure type shit. If you don't know, I'm kind of Issa Rae in real life. So I can definitely relate to her character in Insecure. So just telling him stories, and he was like, you know, you should write so that you can start starring in your own, something like that. So COVID has really just brought people around me to remind me, why did I move here? Mm-hmm. So COVID's been a blessing too. You know, like,
so you mentioned your side hustles of sort. You're vlogging now in the midst of COVID. You also bake and have your own baking company. Can you tell
Mama Gracie Sweet Treats?
Yeah. Can you tell us about both of those two mediums and how you got into it?
So with Mama Gracie Sweet Treats, it is in honor of my late great-grandmother, who was a homemaker. Mama Gracie, woo, homegirl could cook her ass off. Wait, can I curse in this? I can't curse in this.
Yes, you can.
Mama Grace could cook her ass off. You hear me? Woo! That lady could cook. And I love food. I love sweets. I have a terrible sweet tooth. And whenever I would go to different events, I was always the one bringing sweets or the music. And I used to kill my parents, my family members with brownies. Every single holiday, I would bring brownies. There was nothing else I would bring. And then one day when I was here in New York, I moved to New York, and I just wanted to, there were some orange muffins. I was looking for orange muffins because I like to always take a trip down memory lane, like my childhood. Like I had a fun childhood. And when I was younger, my mom used to buy me these orange muffins all the time. So I would go to the store and I would look for them. And I'm like, shoot, like there are no orange muffins here. Maybe I can make them myself. And so I kind of just started that way. And I just always figured, you know, I can start making this stuff myself and I can start selling them, which I'm working on. Let me tell y'all, fear is something else, because I've been working with this business for a long time, and it just seems like fear just tries to creep in. So I told myself I was going to work on my website next week. I need y'all to hold me accountable for that. By next week, my website will be up, because I've been saying that for about a month. As far as Frank and Sincere, which is actually on IG Live, but will soon be on YouTube, I honestly just love hearing people's stories. I have a genuine interest in people. I have a genuine interest in their life story, and just hearing how they're able to overcome, some obstacles in their lives, or just try and get another way of thinking, another perspective of things. So it's based in series. So I always have like a series or something. So actually this month is entitled Overcoming Adversity, Hurricane Katrina, since the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina is actually coming up on the 29th. I actually left maybe about 2-3 days before Hurricane Katrina hit. So just having people's stories out there, because you don't get that. You don't get that. So Frank and Sincere is on IG Live. It has its own page on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Mama Gracie Sweet Treats. So yeah, that's how those two things started.
I just think it's amazing because I see your treats and stuff. I'm like, darn my allergies. But I'm gonna order something for some families when your website gets up. I am gonna do that. I'm just a walking allergy. But just to hear you, it's like just to see how your arts and your artistic gift has manifested in different ways. So even though, grateful that the love that took you to New York for acting is coming back. It's like you're more than just that. Like you're an artist, and it's coming out through you sharing people's stories and through you baking. And you could probably do like an acting monologues and cupcakes kind of thing. Like you could really just like kind of run with it. What do you, or where would you like to see yourself with all of these different journeys coming together, maybe within the next few years? I know some people are always like the next 5 or 10 years, but just kind of what are your next steps for your journey?
The next steps. Honestly, I would love to, I want to say a combination of like the Today Show. I just love how the Today Show, they interview people, and then they're able to actually go out and do the things that the people they're interviewing are doing to actually get a feel for how it feels to be in this position. And then as far as baking, I would like to travel with the baking, if that makes sense. So it would be like a traveling bakery. Like, I don't want to just be in one area. I actually want to be able to, you know, travel to different states and really have people experience the love, like experience what I was able to experience with Mama Gracie, which was, it was always love in her home. No one was a stranger. So just having that communal feel where people, strangers from all walks of life, can get together and just enjoy treats, whether that is playing some music, sitting down, talking, just having that nostalgic feel that I'm able to feel whenever I have my treats, because it's an honor of Mama Gracie. Yeah, that's what I want. Put it into the universe,
you need a pop-up. You need a pop-up, right?
Yes.
You need a pop-up with a few tables in the back and one of those little, like...
Hold on. Wait, time out. Hold on. You're going to have to pause this. Sis, we're going to have to edit that part out. We can't tell people the secret.
She's the editing guru. I don't touch a thing or editing, okay?
Cynthia.
Okay.
You're going to have to edit.
I'll edit it out.
You're going to have to edit that part out.
Okay. All right. So, if you guys haven't noticed, Tay is a comedian at heart. She's super funny. I'm always laughing at her and things that she says. And you actually did some stand-up and even did some background stuff for SNL. Can you tell us what your journey with stand-up was like, and if you would continue to work on it, or what do you think?
When you say stand-up, did I tell you when I did that stand-up show here in New York?
Yeah.
And nobody laughed but my friends?
You sent it to me.
Did I?
Yeah.
You know, okay, so how did that come to be? So I used to tell these stories every morning on IG. Like, I would just talk about what was going on, and people thought it was funny. So I was like, well, no, my friend, he was like, well, Tay, you should try stand-up. Like, your stories are funny or whatever. So I was like, you know what? Bet. I may just try it. I get up there. I'm choking. Like, I'm just like freezing to death. Like, I don't know what to say. Then eventually I saw my friends come in. And I was like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. So I started telling my jokes, still nervous. My delivery was just okay. You always need to have true friends who will let you know if you're funny or not. One of my friends, the one that encouraged me to go, he said, Tay, you had great stage presence, but you were not funny. I said, well, you know what? I respect that. Thank you so much. And honestly, when it comes to that, I would try stand-up again. I feel like New York has allowed me to be more comfortable with myself. And I don't know, like, just having this time to myself has allowed me to really think about, you know, things that I want to do and really not be afraid. There's a friend of mine on Instagram, and he was saying that he wants to get everything out of life. He was like, even to the point where I want to roll up the toothbrush tube to get all of the toothpaste. And I was like, I had to thank him because it made me think about life differently. Like, I'm trying to get everything I can. Even if I'm not funny, I don't care if you boo me or anything. I just want to get up there and just try it one good time. But I think I got to write my stuff down first. Last time I ain't writing nothing down. But I'll write, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Thank you. And then SNL. So I was able to submit my documents for SNL, and this is so, let me tell y'all, God is so funny. You hear me? So I was an extra in the Ben Stiller, the very first scene. I don't know what that scene is called, but it was the opening scene. I think it's called the cold open or something like that. And so when we were in rehearsal, they had all these seats and there were people in the front row and I was in the back. And I was like, damn, you know, like my family not going to be able to see me. You know what I'm saying? Like my family wants to see me on TV. So I was like, man, I guess I'll just sit in the back. I had no idea where I was sitting. The camera was going to be right there. Y'all, when I tell y'all that was the hardest role ever. And it was the hardest role, even though I was quiet the entire time. It was hard because I've always wanted to be on. Oh, that's my phone. Oh, hold on, y'all. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I've always wanted to be on Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. And I remember saying that. So it was like a dream come true. And the fact that I was so excited but had to keep a straight face. Y'all, I was squeezing my hands. I was like trying to pinch myself. I was biting my lip. I was crossing my legs. And all I kept thinking was, Lord, please don't let me mess this up. Because it's in front of a live audience. There is no retake. And they would, if I started laughing, they'd be like, oh, hell no. Man, we don't want you no more. Get your ass up out of here. I didn't want that. I did not want that. So that's how that came to be. And sometimes I actually go back and look and I'm like, damn, Tay, that's you right there, sis. That's you. So yeah.
It was great. I loved it and screamed because I'm definitely.
And it was funny.
Yes.
Ben Stiller was funny too. That was another part. He was funny as hell. It was too funny.
So in all of your preparation that you shared with us for like the stand-up and for your different roles, how do you prepare for a cold read?
Hell no. 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 Now, remember I told y'all, me memorizing a ton of lines is hard, you know, because I had to constantly do it, you know. You know how some people are able just to listen to themselves through their headphones? I literally had to continuously practice and write it down. Like, I have to write the whole script down. Cold reading, all I can do is pray to God. I'll be like, Lord Jesus, please, God, just let me get this. It is so hard for me. People who can do a cold reading, my hat goes off to them because I'm like, what do they want? I think that is the thing. It's like, what are the directors looking for right on the spot? You know, no, y'all, no. And it's so funny because recently someone was talking to me and they were like, so what are some things you need help with? I was like, cold reading. I literally said that to somebody last week. Cold reading. I suck at cold readings. Cynthia, I know one of y'all got a class in this. Y'all need to do a virtual class. I'm serious. Because I need to. Think about that, please. Because, no.
From a director's standpoint, I think they're just looking to see, not a perfect cold read, but to see if you fit the character's nuance. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think they're looking for it to be perfect.
Well, what's the step after perfect? What's like 10 steps? 10 steps before perfect. Like what's 10 steps before perfect? That's me when it comes to cold reading.
All right.
Perfect right here. I'm down here somewhere. I don't know where I'm at. Down here, okay? This perfect. I'm right here. Okay.
Well, we're going to challenge you to a cold read today.
Yeah.
Let me say my prayer right quick. Lord, please be with me right now. All right.
All right. Okay. All right. You will read Marge and I will read Mama. We'll start at the top of page 7 and go to page 9. And I think that your last line is by Mama. By Mama.
Give me 1 second. Wait. Oh, my last. Okay. Bye, Mom. Bye, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Yep.
You ready?
Yep. I done said my prayer to the Lord.
If Mr. Jack asks about the rent, you tell him we're going to be a little late on account of the trip.
I'll talk with him. Don't worry about everything. What you carrying, Mama? Bricks?
If Mr. Jack won't write to Rudley. He ought to send a little something.
Mama, Rudley ain't got nothing for himself. I hate to ask him to give us.
That's your brother. If push come to shove, we got to ask.
Don't forget to eat your lunch. And try to get a seat near the window so you can lean on your elbow and get a little rest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Buy yourself some coffee when the man comes through. You'll need something hot and you can't go to the diner.
I know that. You talk like I'm a northern greenhorn.
You got handkerchiefs?
I got everything, Marge.
I know Florence is real bad off, or she wouldn't call for us money. Make her come home. She ain't got to get rich up there, and we can't afford to do for her.
We talked all of that before.
Well, you got to be strict on her. She got a notions us Negroes women don't need.
But she was in a real play. Didn't she send us $25 a week?
For 2 weeks.
Well, the play was over.
It's not money, Mama. Sarah wrote us about it. You know what she said Florence was doing? Sweeping the stage.
She was in the play.
Sure she was in it. Sweeping? Them folks ain't gonna let her be no actress. You tell her to wake up.
I think.
Listen, Mama, she won't want to come. We know that, but she gotta.
Maybe we should have told her to expect me. It's kind of mean to just walk in like this.
I bet she's living terrible. What's the matter with her? Don't she know we keeping her son?
Florence don't feel right about down here since Jim got killed.
Who does? I should be the one going to get her. You tell her she ain't going to feel right in no place. Mama, honestly, she must think she's white.
Florence is brown skinned.
I don't mean that. I'm talking about her attitude. She didn't go to Shumley's down here and ask to be no sales girl. Now, ain't that something? They don't hide no color folks.
Others besides Florence been talking about their rights.
I know it. But there's things we can't do because they ain't going to let us. Don't feel a damn bit different over here than they does on our side.
Maybe we should have just sent her the money this time. This one time.
Mama, don't you let her cash that check for nothing but to bring her back home.
I know.
I ought to go now.
You best get back to Ted. He might play with the lamp.
He better not let me catch him. If you got to go to the ladies' room, take your grip.
I'll be all right. Make Ted get up on time for school.
Here's something to read. So long, Mama.
Goodbye, Margie, baby.
You got your smelling salts?
In my pocketbook.
Tell Florence I love her and I miss her too.
Sure.
Pin that check in your bosom, Mama. You might fall asleep and somebody may rob you.
I got it. Pin to me.
Bye, Mom.
And scene. So, Tay, how did you feel about that?
First of all, it's summertime, and I don't know what it is about a gnat that likes to keep just flying. So I was like killing that, and my whole thing is you have this entire room like just fly all around here if you want. But it kept going like that, so that was like this. But it felt good. It felt good. Like sometimes I'm just like, I need to work on my accents, especially when it comes to acting, because I can't do no other little accent. But I tried. And Marge felt good. I could relate to Marge because it seems like she's very protective over her mother, which I am with mine. So I can definitely I felt like a oneness with Marge.
Yeah, I mean, from listening to you, you seemed very comfortable. Like, and sometimes I don't look at people while they're cold reading just so I can listen, because I can hear and then kind of paint the picture, like director wise, and it's like I can see the picture between the two of you, and the way the both of you read together, it just sounded like you were very comfortable or in sync. It didn't feel like a cold read. So I think you might have some anxiety about cold read that you don't necessarily have to have, because just the way that you approach the inflection in your tone, like you seemed to be Marge. And you know, and what Cyn was saying earlier about, you know, they're looking just to see if you can embody the character. You could hear that in what you did. Like I could see you looking concerned and like make sure it's checked and not really want, like you could hear all of that in your read.
Thank you.
Y'all been awesome.
Thanks.
So a question that I have for you, I know that you went to school in New Orleans and you told us a little bit about leaving right before Hurricane Katrina. And something that you and I have in common is just our love for New Orleans. Like it's one of my favorite cities to go to. And I saw you post recently that you're going to move back eventually. So can you tell us as an artist what New Orleans means to you and why you see in the near future moving back?
Well, one, I love the South. I love the South. My mom's side of the family is from North Carolina, and it's just something about, when I think of the South, I think of just being able to run barefoot. And I love that. I love my feet. I love my body just feeling the ground, being close to earth. So I love the South. That's one. And New Orleans just has so much culture. I mean, when you get there, like you just feel all this culture. And believe it or not, before Hurricane, if you think New Orleans has culture now, this is post Hurricane Katrina. Try to imagine it 100 times more before Hurricane Katrina. I mean, you just had people who grew up there, and just the love for New Orleans is real. Like people love their city and they rep their city. And that is one of the things that really attracts me to New Orleans. I love the music. When I first went down there for school, a lot of us, when we first went down there for school from out of town, they have this music called bounce music. And we were so confused, like, what the hell is this? But once you listen to it and you see how much love New Orleans has for bounce music, you cannot help but to want to like jig or to want to wobble, like just do anything. Actually, I had a friend who was teaching me how to wobble. Like I have a butt and my friend don't, and she was wobbling. And I was like, yo, how? Teach me your wobble ways, sis. Teach me. So, you know, just you can tell when someone is from New Orleans. Their accents are beautiful. When I first moved here, I was like, are you all from New Orleans? Are you all from the Caribbean? Because it has like a Caribbean twang to it. So I was confused. I was like, wait, are y'all Jamaican or what? What are y'all? Like, I had no idea. But New Orleans has, they have a large entertainment. I guess since Hurricane Katrina, like they're really the hub now, one of the hubs for like movies and everything like that. So there's still a possibility. There's always opportunities down there. Also, I have a lot of friends who have their own businesses, and they were just saying that it's great for small businesses. If you're a small business owner, it's great to be down there. And I just love Black people. I love me some Black people. Lord, I love me some Black people. So, yeah, just being down there and just being, I mean, there's always something to do. Like I have friends who tell me there's literally always something to do. And it's interesting because if you look at Frank and Sincere and people who are from New Orleans, they interviewed, it was like, despite all that, it's like we're not going anywhere. Like they just have like 2 hurricanes coming. And it's still like, no, this is still home. Like we want to be home. And I was thinking earlier today, I was like, well, if I move to New Orleans, I'm gonna have to get a 2-story house because one of the guests that I interviewed was saying how when Hurricane Katrina came, the top floor wasn't messed up at all. It was the bottom floor. So I was thinking like, okay, we know that there are hurricanes coming in. The top floor didn't get damaged, so maybe you want to need 2 stories. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So I just love New Orleans. I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go visit. And it's crazy because, honestly, I think a lot of people I went to college with are moving back or they did not leave. And one of the things that I've always wanted was to have like to live around a bunch of friends and us just raise our families together where we could feel like a community. So I'm like, yo, we could buy a block and, you know, it would just be like, you know, hey, can you pick my child up from school? And it's like, no problem. Like really just having that family oriented community. So that's one of the things that I put into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And when I move back, y'all got a place to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it. I've said, I remember I don't remember what year that was. I was like, yeah, I'm moving. And then I got a teaching job, so I didn't go. But I love the city just as much. I felt like when I first visited, I got so much clarity of my purpose as an artist there. Just because the culture is so rich in art, in the arts. And I just feel like at some point my ancestors' feet were planted there. It just feels like home. So I totally understand wanting to live there. I totally get it. So I might be right behind you at some point, but yes, I definitely agree. Veronique, did you have anything else you want?
No, I just want to go to NOLA more now. I've never been.
You may want to check out Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest is sometime next summer. I'm sure, hopefully COVID will be passed by then, but that would be something great. It'll be a nice festival going on. It's a lot of people, but not as many as Essence Fest. Believe it or not, I've never been to Essence Fest.
Me either.
I want to go when it's not too many people for the first time at least.
Yeah.
Or especially with my dad, so I can move him around and he can eat and listen to good music and see stuff, but not feel like.
Yeah.
He's not a Virgo, but he has.
Thank you so much, Tay, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Yes. You know I love you, girl.
I love you so much. You bring such a light and a positive. It's not really a lot of positivity in the world right now. And you bring that with you wherever you go. And so I know that when you step into somebody's audition room, when you passing out your cakes, when you're traveling and all of this stuff, you're taking that with you. So your best is here. It's here and now. It's just how you're choosing to move. And I'm so proud of you. And I know that you're going to just tear the house down whatever you do. So
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly honored. I appreciate it a lot.
All right. Well,
I actually need to talk to y'all too about writing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I told myself next month I'll start. Next month is what, 2 days from now? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Just jump in.
All right, Tay. Thank you for coming.
Nice.
Thank you. Bye, Ronnie. Have a good one.